Well, hello there. I'm Cosmic Cannibal, resident satirist and astrologer at the Scribe, and this is Cosmic Chronicles, your weekly report of all things astrology, from zodiac signs and planets to transits and horoscopes. And speaking of transits and horoscopes, I've got quite a few for you today, actually. I think it's like 3. Wow. Might be a record. And what are the 3 planets and transits and horoscopes, oh my, that I'm going to be talking about today? Well, first and foremost, we have Retrograde Saturn in Aquarius, which took place on, May 23rd. And then we have, the incredible, amazing, and thing that I told you about for a couple weeks now, Sagittarius Lunar Eclipse, followed by Mercury Retrograde. I told you, there's a lot. For weeks, I've been warning you that summer 2021, technically it's still kind of spring because summer doesn't happen until the summer solstice, which is the initiation, the entrance of the sun into Cancer. But, it's kind of like summer because we're all out of school, right? So technically spring, summer 2021, I told you it was going to be a bit rocky. And I wasn't lying. The astrological rock slide actually began on May 23rd when Saturn, the planet of limits, restrictions, and responsibilities, stationed retrograde in Aquarius. Now, Saturn is not my favorite planet. It's not even Capricorn or Aquarius's favorite planet, and they're both ruled by it. So why does everybody hate Saturn? Or I don't know if they hate him, but I don't think we like Saturn very much. It's because Saturn transits are times of restriction and tension and challenge. And who, in their right mind, wants any of that in their life? When you pick up a horoscope, to read it, it's not like it's an object. You pick up a magazine or go onto a website to read a horoscope, you're not going, I hope this is going to be a time of challenge and restriction. That sounds like fun. No, you want am I going to fall in love? Is my boyfriend going to call me? Or whatever. Well, Saturn's not going to do that. In fact, 2021 Saturn retrograde urges us to finish, or in some cases start, facing the limits, responsibilities, and or restrictions we've been ignoring in the past. Now, these limits, responsibilities, and restrictions are different for each zodiac sign, but 2021 retrograde Saturn in Aquarius will hit the next 4 signs the hardest. And the first sign, Aquarius. Big surprise, right? Retrograde Saturn in Aquarius is sitting in your first house of the personality. If you haven't already started making major changes to your outer body and appearance, you might get more serious about doing so. Now, I'm not talking rhinoplasty or getting bangs, although bangs can be a big deal. If you've been growing out your hair for a long time, I would know. I feel like I've been growing out my bangs since 2017. I don't have them anymore, but somehow they're still there. I have phantom bangs. That's how I feel. Don't cut your bangs. Anybody, don't do it. Even if I said that, I'm like, I should get bangs. Anyway, I'm not talking bangs. I'm not talking rhinoplasty, Aquarius, okay? I'm talking more about the major alterations that take continued effort. Maybe it's not so physical either, outer physical. I don't know. Let's get physical. Olivia Newton-John, you're my spirit animal today. So, no plastic surgery. Actually, with retrograde Saturn, you're instead interested in setting new personal goals for yourself. That's much better than physical alterations. I don't know what I was talking about earlier. So this could mean you start going to the gym again. Here we go, back to the physical. Or you decide you want to do pull-ups and chin-ups. I don't know. Maybe you aim to hike the incline again every weekend now that everybody's also doing it, because that place is always packed. Or maybe, just maybe, you've been avoiding the inner landscape of yourself in favor of all that body beautiful stuff because it's so much easier to control what's going on outside of you. Well, Retrograde Saturn is here to change that. Self-psychoanalysis isn't your cup of tea, as you much prefer to analyze other people and figure out their tics, but it's time you do that to yourself. It's also time to get in touch with who you really are and what you really want. Heads up, you might feel isolated and withdrawn, but in the words of Robert Hand, the great astrologer, no matter how unpleasant a Saturn transit seems at the time, it represents what you really want in life and is helping you get it. End quote. So Aquarius, figure that out during this time. Like, seriously. The second sign that's going to be hit the hardest by retrograde Saturn in Aquarius is, drumroll, that was weak drumroll. That's like the drummer from Def Leppard drumroll, because he has one arm. Taurus. So Taurus, it's actually a long-time aspiration of yours to have a house where friends and family mix and mingle at a dinner table, adorned with meats, cheeses, and corn on the cob. That's the table, not the people. In fact, such an aspiration means you've got money and lots of it. Ooh, and I guess people who love you or whatever. Really, it's the money and the food part that you care about. Who are we kidding? Lately, you may have been more focused on that food and money part of this dream and have forgotten the friends and family part. Well, this might have to change. Retrograde Saturn is in your 10th house, so you're working hard on your career and your ambitions. You gotta get money to pay for that food and that house. Or friends, I don't know your life. That, or you're looking to clarify your career goals. Asking yourself, do I really want to be a male model? And boy, do you feel growing pains because of this. Your parents might become a burden. When aren't they a burden, am I right? On the flip side, the parents might finally let you out on your own, and you have no idea what to do without their guidance. If you're a working bull, you might see an increase in responsibilities at the office. There could be a leadership position in the works, should you want it. You love delegating, so if the job requires you to assign work to other people, that's like your jam. You're all for it. You will be like, yes, sign me up for that. Telling other people what to do, making them do the work for me, who wouldn't like that? But if none of this applies to you, then maybe you're getting serious about the ways in which you can make an impression on the world. Unfortunately, I can't help you with that because I don't know anything about you beyond your zodiac sign. Moving on. The third sign that retrograde Saturn in Aquarius is going to affect and hit the hardest like a rock slide is Leo. Well, if there was ever a zodiac sign that is in love with love, it is yours, Leo, and Libra and Pisces, but they aren't on this list, are they? However, as of late, your love life has felt restricted, if not downright hopeless. Flings aren't really your thing. Don't believe me? Look at J-Lo. She doesn't date. She marries, and then divorces, and then marries again, and then hangs out with Ben Affleck for no reason. Like, what? Gigli ruined pop culture for like an entire year. Please don't give us Gigli too. Anyway, Leo, you've long had your heart set on finding that soulmate who just gets you. And by get, I mean they worship you night and day. In 2021, this urge for a committed partnership has been especially strong thanks to Saturn in Aquarius, and it's only going to strengthen during this retrograde cycle. With retrograde Saturn in your 7th house, which is the house of partnerships and relationships and love bonds, the planet is taking another stab at restructuring these relationships and partnerships and love bonds. Whether these love bonds are with your spouse, your longtime boyfriend or girlfriend, or your agent. Wait, whoa there, Hollywood. You've got an agent? I'm so jealous. Of course you got an agent. Every Leo has an agent. Even in their own head, they're like, I'll call my agent. They'll get back to you. So even in any of those relationships, the love bonds will be tested. If that isn't vague enough for you, I've got this. A partnership either strengthens or ends as you work on understanding the other person's wants and needs. You might also want to work on understanding your wants and needs. One way to go about this is to make a love list. I'm not joking. Do it. Try it. List all of the qualities you want in a partner, whether it's love or business, or I don't know what other partnerships there are, so love or business, and just see what happens. The traits you desire may clash with the traits in your mate. What that means for the pairing, well, I've got 2 words for you. J-Lo and A-Rod. Cough. Break up. Cough. Oh, man, I must have a cold. Cough. Break up. Cough. Okay. And the 4th zodiac sign, that Saturn in Aquarius during this retrograde cycle is just going to clobber over the head like Thor's hammer, is Scorpio. There's a theme here, in case you haven't noticed. These are all fixed signs because Saturn is in a fixed sign. So it's going to hit the fixed signs the hardest. And what's hard about this, sorry Scorpio, I'll get to your sign in a minute, is that fixed signs are really stubborn. So, like, these lessons that Saturn is trying to teach them, they are not going to be learned easily because Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, you guys are just like, it's my way or the highway. I know how things are going, and then when things aren't going that way, you don't like it. You don't know how to adapt. You don't know how to adjust. So, work on that. Anyway, Scorpio. While some Tauruses may be focusing too much on work to the detriment of their personal life, you might be focused so much on your personal life that your career has suffered. After all, Saturn retrograde is in your 4th house of family and foundations. This means the planet of limitation and restriction wants you to take a long, sober look at your domestic life and habitual tendencies from childhood. That's a mouthful. Now, the outer planet isn't going to mess every aspect of your home life up at the same time, but it will alter one, which will have a domino effect on all the others. I don't know which one it will alter. I'm not psychic, okay? Despite what the critics may claim, or my Wikipedia page. You might be required to take on a parental role at home or at work. You know, maybe you have to baby somebody at the office, which brings out the mommy, daddy issues you've been harboring for a long, long time. Or you realize that your work crew is just too immature for you, which unleashes a long-held insecurity, which, just between you and me, here's the insecurity. You know it, I know it, nobody else has to know it. It's that you don't fit in anywhere. At home, work, or otherwise. Like, that's your biggest worry, is that you won't fit in. On top of that shit sandwich, retrograde Saturn may also urge you to put down roots. Maybe you move to a new place and start a family of your own. This could prompt a job change, which will start a new cycle in your career path. See, I told you, domino effect. However, for all the emphasis you place on building new foundations, you shouldn't ignore the internal work needed during this retrograde. There are habits and old wounds in need of ousting. Needless to say, it won't be fun. On the bright side, at least you're growing up, right? But wait, there's more. The 5th and final sign that is going to be hardest hit by, I think it would be hit hardest by Saturn retrograde in Aquarius is not actually a sign at all. It's actually anyone with Saturn in Aquarius in their birth chart. So yeah, this isn't a zodiac sign, duh, but it is a planetary placement that will be hit hard by the transit. Until October 10th, that's something that is very important. That's when the retrograde ends. It goes direct on October 10th, so it's not going to be a great time of the year. All summer long, right? Summer straight into fall. It's just going to be thinking about all these things that you have to work on and all the restrictions you're facing in your life. Isn't that wonderful? Wow, that's just the greatest. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Anyway, while there are a number of individuals born with Saturn in Aquarius, I'm actually referring specifically to those with the placement who were born between 1991 and 1994. Why? Because those poor saps are currently experiencing their first Saturn return. I will pause for shrieks, scowls, and fainting. I did all of that. So now that we got that out of the way, we can get down to business. Actually, that's precisely what retrograde Saturn wants you native Saturn and Aquarius people to do during Saturn retrograde. That's a lot of Saturn. Whew. Get down to business. Now, I can't tell you how or in what way you are supposed to get down to business. At least not without going through an entire Saturn return and Saturn return, retrograde return horoscope, which I don't want to do because that would take too long. I couldn't even say the title of it. How do you think the horoscopes are going to be, you know? However, I can attempt to provide you with exceedingly vague, unpersonalized predictions. So, here goes. If you're one of the 4 signs mentioned in the above list, then you already know where and how retrograde Saturn in Aquarius will affect you. For the remaining zodiac signs struggling with your Saturn return, I'll give you a hint about what retrograde Saturn in Aquarius will do for you. Nothing related to what was mentioned in the above list. There you go. The planet might bring restriction, limitations, or opportunities for discipline to and in the following areas of your life: love, finance, shared resources, health and hygiene, ideals, communication, creativity, the past. You get the idea. One final note on 2021 retrograde Saturn. The transit might not be all that bad. I can't even say it with a straight face. Yes, it will. Saturn is our teacher, as well as our outer planetary disciplinarian, authority figure, and big daddy. That sounds weird. It's not like that. What I mean is there are lessons to be learned during the retrograde cycle, in case you didn't get that the other 14 times I said that before. They may be awfully difficult to learn and cope with, these lessons, and they may beget loneliness, hopelessness, or growing pains, but oh well. So now that we have the Saturn retrograde stuff out of the way, thank God. Well, not really. It's not going to be out of the way until October 10th, and it's really not going to be out of the way for any of the people with Saturn return stuff going on. Sorry. But we have other transits to worry about, right? In fact, there's a big transit that we have to worry about, and that one is the 2021 Sagittarius Lunar Eclipse. I'm not going to lie. The tail end of May is packed with stormy cosmic weather, as I'm sure you figured out, but there is no transit stormier than this lunar eclipse, which takes place on May 26th. Now, if you're listening to this on May 26th, take cover. It's already done. It's been done. It's over. If you're listening to this after that, cool. Thanks, I guess. You know what's interesting is that they say, like in the days, they say, astrologers is what I mean by they, the days leading up to an eclipse and following an eclipse is really when like the energy starts stirring. Well, I don't feel that. I don't know about anybody else. It could be because like I'm just awesome and I'm immune to a lot of the planetary goings-ons. Going-ons? Is it goings-ons? I don't know. I can't speak, but I can be invulnerable to lunar eclipse energy, as I am right now. But for the rest of you, why is the 2021 Sagittarius lunar eclipse going to be so stormy? I'm sure you're wondering that, right? The short answer, because eclipses suck. They are volatile, they are messy, and they are emotionally intense. Well, I mean, astrologer Eliza Kelly says that eclipses lead you to your destiny, and that's a really fun way of looking at it. Like, I don't know if your destiny is to just cry. So wait. What is a lunar eclipse? Quote, a lunar eclipse occurs when the moon moves into the Earth's shadow. This can occur only when the sun, Earth, and moon are exactly or very closely aligned with the Earth between the other two, and only on the night of a full moon. End quote. Thanks, Wikipedia. If you know anything about full moons, it's that they heighten our emotions. Don't believe me? Then why do movies always have weird, emotionally intense stuff happen on a full moon? Name one movie where an inmate doesn't escape from an insane asylum on a full moon, or a virgin isn't sacrificed on a full moon, or Cher doesn't fall in love with Nicolas Cage and finds herself moonstruck on a full moon. Snap out of it. They don't exist, okay? They don't exist because full moons are times of heightened emotions, like I said. They're also days for release. This is especially true for a lunar eclipse. How'd you like that transition? Smooth as silk, right? One point to the other. That's why I do what I do. Now, according to astrologer Chani Nicholas, I said her name wrong. Not wrong, but very weird there. Apologies, Chani. The Sagittarius lunar eclipse, her horoscopes. During lunar eclipses, it's a time to contend with our personal dragons, face a shadow or two, make quantum leaps and quick switches, experience personal power surges, and make minor adjustments that lead to major epiphanies. In Sagittarius, the eclipse asks us to rethink the philosophical paradigms we've been operating within both personally and collectively. Occurring alongside the reconstructionism of the Saturn-Uranus square, just as last June's lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, it's important to note that uprisings that were occurring then, the ones that are taking place now, and the connections between them, end quote. That's a lot, right? I didn't write that. That's Chani, and it's beautiful. So, a lunar eclipse is basically a full moon on fruit punch flavored Four Loko. That's my interpretation of it. Like, Chani, that was beautiful, but hello, I think mine's more accurate. So, actually, side note, did you know Four Loko was originally designed as an energy beer? And it also contained wormwood, an ingredient found in absinthe. That's probably why no one in their right mind should willingly drink a Four Loko. I don't care what flavor, fruit or not. Those are two more fun facts courtesy of Wikipedia. Actually, the lunar eclipse, back to this thing, it can be likened to an intense thunderstorm. Unlike any other thunderstorm, the 2021 Sagittarius lunar eclipse will affect each zodiac sign differently. Some signs may get a light shower. Some may get drenched. Some, like Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, will say, "Rain on me." Rain on me, right? And the others, well, they might experience a turbulent emotional hailstorm that almost feels like it's ruining their life, especially if they have any placement in 5 degrees Gemini or Sagittarius, because that's where the lunar eclipse hits. Luckily, I don't have placements in either of those degrees, so sorry for the people who do. Of course, it's not easy to know which of the 12 zodiac signs will be hammered with rain and which will be as dry as the air in Arizona, which is why I made this snazzy list. I'm liking these lists. I hope you are. Please note, this snazzy list of the 4 zodiac signs most affected by the 2021 Sagittarius lunar eclipse may or may not be as vague as it is inaccurate. So, here goes. The first sign most affected by this lunar eclipse is Gemini. The Sagittarius lunar eclipse sits in your 7th house of partnerships, which may stir up drama with your significant others, be they business or romantic. A permanent split looms like a cyclone cloud over Pikes Peak. Question is, who's dumping who? You don't want to say adios to your business/romantic beau, but you also don't want them to beat you to it, because who actually likes getting dumped? No one. Either way, the split might just be the best thing for you. Easier said than done. Venus in Gemini forms a tense aspect to Neptune in Pisces, which further clouds your certainty about the situation. Ooh, spooky. The second sign most affected by this Sagittarius lunar eclipse is, surprise, surprise, Sagittarius. The lunar eclipse is in your sign and 1st house, a combo that's like a double shot of volatility. Like if you were to order this at Starbucks, you'd be like, "Can I get a double shot of volatility? Thanks." Someone, a woman, wife, mom, or mother figure in your personal life may get under your skin big time. Since you're not known for your level head, You might just blow your top and say something you can't take back. What's more, the intense angle between Venus and Neptune brings confusion and deception. So, as disgruntled as you may find yourself on or around May 26th, you're unsure of as why. One way to mitigate the tension is to tactfully say your piece. Like that's gonna happen. So, just scream into a pillow until it goes away. The third sign most affected by this dreadful Sagittarius Lunar Eclipse, that's a lightning bolt, is Virgo. The Sagittarius Lunar Eclipse sits in your 4th house of home and family. Your parents may be getting on your nerves way more than usual in the days leading up to and following May 26th. But before you rupture the relationship beyond repair by vocalizing how upset you are, you should consider acting normally. That is, repress all those negative feelings and treat them like the bacterial fungi they are. Isn't that what you do every other day? By avoiding a confrontation with dear old mom or dad, you have a better shot of staying in their good graces. In other words, living rent-free until graduation. Am I right? And the 4th sign most affected by this eclipse is Pisces. Notice these are all the mutable signs. There's a trend, a pattern, like, hello. So Pisces, this lunar eclipse is sitting high in your 10th house of career. Now, you're emotional enough as it is, but your feelings have been extra charged as of late, especially in regards to your career path and long-term goals. It might be that your parents or an authoritative figure, such as a teacher or a boss, presses you to make a decision about an important issue related to your life path. Being the slippery fish that you are, it should be a comfort to hear that you shouldn't make any decisions for several days. Isn't that cool? Like I'm actually telling you to avoid your problems. Talk about a win. But wait, didn't I say there were 3 transits in this episode? I did. Now, I did misspeak like a lot of times throughout this, but I didn't misspeak about that. The last transit, I actually mentioned it. I don't know why I'm acting like it's a surprise. Like I made you wait the whole time to hear this, right? I didn't. It's Mercury Retrograde. Yep. The 3rd and final transit overview of this vague and inaccurate astrology newscast is Mercury Retrograde. On May 29th, Mind Planet Mercury stations retrograde in Gemini, where it will appear to backpedal through the sky and sign until June 22nd. The planets don't actually move backwards. This isn't Doctor Who, okay? That's just a side note. So I've keyed you in on this planetary transit for some time now, emphasizing how big of a shit sandwich it will be. Like a triple fiery famous star burger from Carl's Jr. Dang! I should have used that as the metaphor for the Sagittarius Lunar Eclipse instead of all that rain crap. Dang it, that would have been a good one. I wonder if I can go back. Too late. Anyway, why does Mercury Retrograde suck? Why was I beating it like a dead horse or eating it like a fiery famous star burger from Carl's Jr.? Well, the planet rules communication and connection. That means the communication you share between yourself and your laptop, aka writing, or it can mean the communication between yourself and others, text, emails, chit-chats. You get the idea. Basically, Mercury rules any way you speak, write, and express your ideas to connect with other people. However, the planet also presides over that which makes communication possible. In other words, that's the technology and tools that help us connect to each other and connect our ideas. So, phones, laptops, email, Wi-Fi, Zoom, phone apps, cars, TVs, appliances, watches, etc. When retrograde, the planet isn't functioning as it should. Instead of moving forward, it appears to be moving backwards, which causes communication and all its tools to go on the fritz. So, don't be surprised if you experience internet issues, or your laptop gets a virus, or you crack your phone, or Microsoft Teams isn't working. When does it work? Come on. Everyone knows it just sucks. Or maybe you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, or your emails, texts, letters. Do people write letters anymore? I don't think so. Are rife with misspellings and errors. Actually, that last one should surprise you because you're forewarned about this transit. So you should revise and edit those emails, texts, and letters before they're sent. Astrologer and writer Trish McGregor has this to say about Mercury retrograde. Quote, follow the rule of the 3 R's. Review, reconsider, and revise. Rather than launching anything new. Travel can be iffy, plans go south quickly, and itineraries change without warning. End quote. Since this Mercury retrograde takes place in Gemini, the premier sign of adaptability, it would be wise to work on being more flexible. I mean, not any of you fixed signs. You guys aren't going to do that. Or the earth signs. You guys aren't going to do it either. So the rest of you, Aries, Gemini, I don't know about Cancer. Maybe. Pisces, Sagittarius, Libra. Who else? I think that's it. Yeah. You guys should work on being flexible. That doesn't mean you should start practicing the splits. It means it would be a good idea to be more open to what happens or doesn't happen during Mercury retrograde. If plans change with them. Instead of starting anything new, focus on revising old projects or projects in the works. However, if your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend or even that one dude you went on one date with back in August comes out of the woodwork and wants to reconnect, which they will most likely do during this retrograde cycle, I advise you to tell them your phone is broken. And so is your car and your internet. That way you won't fall into the Mercury retrograde trap of reconnecting with old flames. Unless, of course, you want to reconnect with them. Pisces. We all know it. We're calling you out. You want it. You're hoping for it. But here's a pro, right? Maybe the ex wasn't bad. Maybe things just kind of fell apart, right? Maybe it's not bad to reconnect with them. I'm not gonna... I don't think that. I don't agree with that. But whatever. I'm not your boss or your mom. So there you have it. Your weekly report on all things astrology. We covered quite a bit in this episode. I don't know if it was for the week, though. Is it for a week? I don't know. Okay, I'm not doing math right now. Okay, the semester is over. I am not doing math, okay? Thanks for joining me on this episode of Cosmic Chronicles. Thanks to bensound.com for the music featured on this show and for Christian Schmidt on the intro and outro. If you want more astrology articles and satire pieces from the Scribe, visit scribe.uccs.edu or follow us on Instagram at UCCS Scribe.